Oh, it's the weekend already? I thought it was the Nightcap. Are you going to open the drink, G?
And we're finally here. It's the Lakers, well, now Dodgers for tonight. Nightcap with Joe Soro. Well, after the promised time that he was supposed to be here, he chose to be somewhere else after he rescheduled again. You already heard my rant earlier on the show.
Oh my God!
Live.
You didn't read the chat, did you?
I didn't give a damn about the chat.
Oh man, people were saying some crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's unprofessional. Which is for a guy that runs such an outstanding organization. By the way, Simblades for the Y.com, and professional organization that he does, which I will always give him every ounce of credit for. Tonight was not a good look.
I got nothing to defend myself on this one.
Well, good. See,
the only thing I can
it only took 2 years to get him, but I got him.
The only thing I can say is it was one of those times where conversation was so good with the chats, and a lot of them, of course, are Laker fast break friends. And, to make up for the problem, Gerald, I believe we got a really good amount of new visitors that are going to be coming from that.
I certainly hope so, but
yeah.
It's just how as you know, Joe, as someone who runs a very successful company, it's your perception on how you look to your customers, to your consumer base. And when you asked to move it back, I was like, cool, you're going to be on Jeff's channel, fine. Maybe Jeff will decide to come here. You guys, we always give him respect here on this channel. Maybe he'll do the same in kind. And, it is what it is. And it's just, again, perception to the audience. I do not want to disrespect our audience. They take the time out of their day to watch us. And they love you so much. We had people mask up on Twitter asking you this morning to do playbacks, you asking me to find out if playback does it. And I did all the research I could, and they don't do MLB and NFL yet. And when they do, I will let you know. But yeah, again, I don't like to disrespect our audience, man. And I was pissed, absolutely. But I was more disappointed for our audience. And I had to go. I had to go pick up my daughter near the strip. I could not avoid that, man. I told you that on the text. So he kept blabbing away. I'm looking on my other tab. The thing is, I'm here knowing that he's blabbing on the other side, and I'm looking at the tab, and he's just blabbing away. And I gave the subtle hint. And just
it was
respectful.
It was a hitch in professionalism. However, at least from my perspective, it was a necessary skew from the normal process because there was something that I believe developed tonight, something that you had tried to convince me of earlier in the summer. And I'm not saying you weren't right then. I just wasn't in the mindset of having that kind of energy. And it's weird how you think of what energy is. When you see a reciprocation from an audience, when you're tired, when you're overwhelmed, whatever, you start seeing the messages from Australia. Joe, we want to hear you guys do this. Joe, are you going to do this? Something starts to happen. As the performer, and I talked about this on Jeff's show here not too long ago. There's an energy that starts to develop, and the audience is starting to click onto something that is going to force us to make. And it's not just podcast related. You talked about my business. When I first got into the artificial turf business, I did not want to install artificial turf. I had a disdain taste from it due to the two companies I worked for that butchered the jobs. They ended up going under. They ended up getting sued. They ended up embezzling. I had a bad taste about that particular business. I didn't mind selling the turf, but I didn't want to have anything to do with its construction. But you know what happened? I built such a good rapport with my clients that they started asking me, Joe, do you anyone that installs this? And I kept saying no, and I kept saying no, and I kept saying no, until finally, after the 15th time, I'm like, Jesus Christ, maybe I should install this stuff. Changed my life. It was a path that it took me into where I am now, and it changed my life, changed my family's life, changed everything. So there's a redux of that similar structure happening right now on this show. And it's looking like we're going to have to start accommodating.
And the thing is, Joe, and again, I was pretty upset, not for myself, because it's just me. It's not a big deal, but for the people out there. And we always talk about how we think this show is, where do we want it to go. To me, and your company is all about perception. When they look at your website, it's all about perception. When they come onto this channel, whether they hate our opinions or love our opinions, it's about perception. The audio listeners. Why is our show in the top 10 among Lakers podcasts? Because it's perception, because of how it's produced. And I just don't want to let them down. I don't want to let them down. People are now investing money, as you see below in our great members. They're investing money each month into it. It's a small amount, but it's still an amount. And I don't care if they're spending just $2, $3, in this case, $2.99, or whatever it is that they charge. I just don't want to disrespect our audience. I think it's a personal insult to them. I know you were not meaning to do it maliciously in any shape or form. You were all happy about what happened today with the Dodgers winning 2-0 on an excellent pitching performance, 2 great home runs, and also making the Dodgers getting into the NLCS against the Mets. So yes, absolutely. I'm very happy for you, Joe. I put this on just for you and the audience, just because of how much respect I have for the Dodgers winning. And it's just, again, I just don't like disrespecting the audience. And I felt, again, I apologize to you guys out there, but you got Joe now, and we'll go forward, and we'll leave it at that. So
I promise I'll make up for it. And I think in the end tonight,
make it up to them. That's all.
I will. I think in the end, tonight might have been there might have been a shift into a higher area for us. And I don't think it's a might. I think it is happening. It's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen, and it's time to kind of kick it up a notch a little bit more now. And what you saw tonight was likely what you would have seen in 2019, 2020, had I been on the Lakers fast break then. What you saw was what we see in our teams. You would have seen me speak in the way I speak about the Dodgers, about the Lakers, because there's performance that's being created that's in a positive way. So a lot of our LFB patrons who saw Jeff and I speak for 3 hours, people felt like that there was a different Joe there. That's not true, folks. I'm not different. I'm never different. I'm the same guy. It's just I'm going to deliver what is going on. And delivering positive news versus negative news, that's an interpretation. That's just what you think I'm saying a lot of times, especially for those who don't know us. Well, I'm not giving you any positive or negative information. I'm giving you the information. It just happens to suck in LA, Lakers, and it's really good right now for LA, the Dodgers. And that's what's going on. That's where we're at. And you're watching the weekend nightcap. I don't have alcohol in this, but it is my nightcap for the night because I didn't
Okay.
eat. And I want to give props to Gerald for leaving whatever that stuff is over there in Disneyland because I know you love Disneyland. And you actually have a pretty cool looking shirt.
This jersey right there.
Very,
Yeah.
very nice shirt. Very,
Yeah.
very nice.
Again, I had to jet. I said my piece. I apologize to the audience. I said my piece, and I come back. I've cooled down, and again, for me, Joe,
I
like I
could
said,
feel the heat.
yeah,
And it's similar. It was similar. It's similar to when, let's say, my wife is upset for the right reasons, or if I have a friend of mine who's upset for the right reasons. Sometimes, if you're gonna do things right, if you're gonna hold your hat on the what is the common sense holder. If you screw up, put your head down, you walk in the room, and you take the hit. I'm taking the hit, Gerald. I'm sorry. Screwed up. You have every right to be pissed. The next time, I will commit 100% versus 90%.
again, I just said to Xbox, and I'm saying it now to Search. I've always been that type of individual. Like whether I'm running stores, running it rentals, working in Hollywood. How does my work reflect to the consumer base out there? And that's just basically it. I feel like I failed them as well. So, again, we're just going to move on. And again, I'm trying to grow this channel. You're trying to grow this channel as best you can. I know you had a great conversation with Jeff. I heard parts of it. And I'm just happy for you guys. You guys are avid Dodgers fans. And the fact that just to hear you after all this time give praise to Dave Roberts after all this time, my mind is blown. Very few things blow my mind, but to hear you in the past 48 hours, 72 hours, give praise to Dave Roberts after years of listening to you call him basically the devil incarnate, is truly something that I thought I would never live to see.
It reiterates even more that I am going to continue to give you the information as it's being presented. If I didn't compliment Dave Roberts, Doc, for his performance in this series, especially the last two games, then I'm not doing my job. This is the best series he's ever managed. It's one of the best managed series I've ever seen in general. Forget about Dave Roberts. In general, this was a masterful managing performance.
I mean, I had my concerns, Joe, throwing out the reliever there in Game 4, and then Yamamoto, who you told me and I looked at it, he had a history of being bad against the Padres. That takes a lot of guts on both accounts for both games, Joe.
And there was some things I heard during this break between Game 4 and Game 5 that kind of clicked. Chris Mad Dog Russo, the famous sports radio guy from Mad Dog, Mike and the Mad Dog.
ESPN now.
For those of you who don't know, I know you know, Gerald. He said, wait a minute. Why is there even a discussion? I think he said this on High Heat on the MLB channel. He said, what? And he's got that voice. You pay a guy $325 million and you don't know if you're going to start him in a Game 5 when he's rested? So I'm like, yeah. Mad Dog has a point. I initially had the instincts of maybe getting an opener because Yamamoto seems to struggle in the first inning, whether it was especially with San Diego and all year, and in general, he struggles at the gate. I said, maybe, get an opener just because we can't have them score in the first inning. That's usually been the problem. Not only this year, but last couple of years, the Padres and the Diamondbacks, they go on these 4 or 5 run, barrages, and you're done. Everybody starts to tighten up on offense, and then the game's over. So Doc said, "Nah, we're paying this." I'm sure he said, "No, we're going to start Yamamoto. He's got to come through. That's it." And boy, did he come through. He could have another inning too. If our bullpen wasn't so studly, he probably would have pitched another inning for sure. And if they
Are you worried about tired arms heading into the Mets series?
No. There was Trident up until the game 4. He hadn't pitched in like 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
I'm concerned about Vesia. Vesia had to check out, but they didn't spend a lot of. Every reliever in this game tonight, I don't think pitched that much. Even Philip Treinen just had 3 guys, and he mowed them down. Okay. There were a lot of one-pitch outs tonight. A lot of one-pitch outs. Whether it was Yamamoto or a reliever. I think Phillips, even though he faced, 5 guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't look like he was taxed at all. So the cool thing, too, here is they don't have a lot of – in baseball, sometimes a break can mess you up. And it looked like it might have messed them up a little bit, even though they won game 1. Game 2 was a bad thing. But the Dodgers probably should have won this game in 4 games in dominating fashion. They won it in 5 because they're just that talented, and Dave happened to have the best managing performance of his career and probably one of the best in general that I've seen. Just the way he won game 4 using 8 pitchers and the way he managed Yamamoto and then the rest of the guys after that. The fact came up lame after his last out coming in on the next inning and putting in Kopech. Kopech just brought the gas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. If that guy is not too gassed up and he's throwing that kind of gas, you're done. You're not going to be able to beat that guy. This team right now has all the momentum and all the talent. And if Dave Roberts is going to manage his ass off like this, you're going to have to convince me that these guys are going to lose.
Okay.
Either in New York, Detroit, Cleveland, or New York, Detroit, or Cleveland. That's to convince me at this point. I'm gonna have to see something on Sunday and Monday where I'm like, this doesn't look good. But I'm fully confident that the Dodgers are, as long as there isn't any major injuries anywhere else, especially to someone like Betts or Botani, I am very confident that this is gonna be a very, very good run here for the Dodgers.
Okay. Dodgers Nightcap with Joe Soro, guys.
Is it the Dodgers Nightcap?
We'll call it the Dodgers Nightcap for tonight. They deserve it. Absolutely.
So the Dodgers Nightcap / a little bit of Lakers. Maybe we'll throw in some Laker talk here before Tuesday's game. We got a nice little break here before Tuesday's game.
I'm hoping I get a chance to see whether or not I go to the game. I'm not sure yet, but I'm hoping I will go ahead and be able to see Aussie. Big shout out to Aussie, John, who was at game 1 of the Dodger game, if you remember, Joe, in LA. And he's been all over California, all over the West Coast. But I'm hoping he said he'll be at the game on Tuesday. So at least, at the very least, I'm going to go ahead and see him, because you guys out there, we always want to meet you when possible. So, and especially someone who's come across from one continent to the other, like he has from Australia.
Yeah, I'm going to try to see if I can figure something out to get over there.
Absolutely. I mean, he said he's going to be there for Tuesday's game. So I'm going to at the very least, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can meet him somewhere near T-Mobile, if that's the case. But yeah, I'm just super thrilled when we get one of the Aussies over here to see us here in the States.
I'm just, again, part of why tonight went the way it went had more to do with the fact that I'm feeling love from our people so much that I traveled to someone else's show and we still have them. And then not only that, we had people on there saying, Joe, what's your other channel? I want to go subscribe. And that's a beautiful feeling.
That's disappointing, because I always plug Jeff's channel here. It's a shame that it doesn't.
Well, Jeff felt like he doesn't plug us enough, and I think both of you need to understand that you guys do plug each other. Well, that didn't sound good. You plug the shows very well for each other. Pause. it's the shows are going to the quality of the shows are going to determine the end game here. If certain things work, you're going to continue to keep giving the audience what they want. Tonight, people want to listen to Jeff and I talk about the Dodgers. So now this has to be something we're going to have to work on. And then here, people want to listen to you and I talk about Lakers. Now, if I want to mix in a little Steeler action in there, sure, maybe down the road. But I think that probably would be better when there's probably a much broader audience connection. We'll have to see how that kind of develops.
$7,000 dropping the super chat first. Truly appreciate it. He said, "Show Yama after the OK series still bring win culture." All right, appreciate it, Seven. As always, a great to have you part of what we're doing here. And then the Xbox, always with the compliments. I've been going back and forth with him. He's been providing a steady voice like Search tonight. 2 steady voices, both off air and on air. And I'm truly grateful to you both tonight for your patience with us and with me tonight. So he puts in the super chat, "Best show ever. Thanks, G&J." And I'm truly grateful for all you guys' support out there. So there you go.
Ralph, we're going to do a 12-team playoff show for you. Okay, cuz? I'll get it done for you. This is going to be epic anyways. There's going to be God knows so much talk about.
He said you traveled to a bodybuilding show for him.
Yes. That's my blood. That's my blood. Ralph is my blood. So we support our families. We support our cousins. We support our nephews. We support our nieces, uncles, aunts, everybody. That's loyalty to family and good friends is how we roll, baby. And we
I'm sad. Well, Ralph, I'm sad for UNLV because if it wasn't for a young man, he was overzealous in overtime against Syracuse. Got that flag when it looked like they were going to back up Syracuse to like a 3rd and 25 or some god number. But he roughed the passer, got just one step too late, should have just eased off. That cost pretty much them any chance of the playoffs. And they're winning now still. So feel bad for them. My USC Trojans, maybe they can get back in the thick of things because they're in the middle of the Big Ten and they play Penn State tomorrow. So yeah, maybe a win at home will get them back in good graces. But yeah, it's interesting how I still think they should do a larger playoff format. They should use those bowls to be a playoff system. I mean, there's no reason why you would be wanting to watch the Music City Bowl in the middle of December. It would be so much more interesting if it was like used as a NCAA tournament format, like having like an Alabama versus like a UNLV, like a lower ranked team, and like a first round matchup as far as those early bowl games instead. I think it would get more money to the NCAA instead of watching a 5-6 team versus a 6-5 team, as you always do at the beginning of December. Yeah.
My only issue with a 12-team playoff is the irrelevance of the regular season. That's what I didn't want. And the other thing is I don't want kids playing 16 games a year. I didn't want that. I think college football should stick to 12, 13 games. It's starting to creep up to 16 now.
So you might as well just make a ton of cash off it. Have better matchups. I'm so tired of these 5 and 6 matchups against 5 and 6 teams. It's just it's lame, Joe. The one in the Bahamas Bowl, yeah.
I get what you're saying, but you got to do both. You got to eliminate what you don't like, which is the 15,000 bowls. But I also don't want a playoff for 6 weeks after a regular season that's almost 4 months. It's too much. So much greed comes into this. How much is enough? Why can't you just let things be sometimes? They're learning this from that piece of shit, Roger Goodell. That's where all this starts. That's where it all started. Just constant. Oh, more, 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 more. Some of these players in football aren't even lasting a month out of the season. Not only that, does he take away? He doesn't take away the things you want him that you want him to take away. He adds stuff that you don't want, and he takes away what you want, which is if you're going to make these guys play 17 games plus another playoff game now, and then of course you're going to make it 18 eventually because you're a greedy piece of shit. You're also telling them not to practice a certain amount of times during training camp, during mini camp, during the preseason. Well, how's your body supposed to harden for that kind of contact? He just wants them to just go and start the season. Body needs to be conditioned to handle that kind of abuse. But no, apparently that makes you hurt more. No, if you practice too much, that's too much. But if you play in real games, that's not enough. We need more games. Just I don't know. I think they need to cap the regular season at 10 regular season games if they're going to have a 12-man playoff. And then at the very least, now you're going to have four playoff games for these teams. I'll roll with 14 games to win a national title.
Okay. There you go. But it is, of course, the Dodgers moving on to the National League Championship Series. Joe is ecstatic. Jeff, his voice is pretty much shot, so he's unable to join us tonight, but no worries.
You don't want to be on?
He said his voice is shot, so make sure you like and subscribe to Empire Jeff. Does a great job covering the Dodgers and the Lakers out there. So I know our audiences, as I see in the chat, cross over quite a bit, and hopefully that will continue to do so for some time to come, because we always enjoy having and seeing all the familiar faces, plus get new ones as well. So Hernan says, I do not like those not so classy Dodgers fans that threw beers at the Padres in game 2, that they easily were going to be the reason why we lost the series by pumping up the Padres. Hernan, yeah, I even saw the Dodgers beating up themselves and their own fans, Dodgers fans beating up Dodger fans in the parking lot after that game. Laker Nick sent me the video of that. He threw him down to the concrete and busted his nose. And I was just like, man, it wasn't even a Padres fan. It was a Dodgers fan beating up a Dodgers fan outside of Chavez Ravine.
I'm not going to defend certain elements of that area and Dodger fans. A lot of them are meatheads. Absolute, just concrete heads. And is it a surprise that all these incidents happen in the parking lot? You know who owns the parking lot still?
Yeah, I know.
Mr. Frank McCourt. For those of you who don't know who that is, that was the former owner who was forced to sell the team due to his suckiness.
And the divorce, right?
Yeah, but was able to negotiate with the Guggenheims or something with Major League Baseball and Guggenheims, I don't know, where he can remain as the owner of the parking lot. And Frank McCourt, when you talk about jizz stains in your daily conversation, this is the king of a jizz stain. These are the guys that ruin people's lives indirectly. If I owned that parking lot, that place would be guarded like the border in North Korea and South Korea. I would make an announcement to everyone that'll listen. Damn the LA culture of law enforcement. Damn the governor of California. I'm like, you guys got a problem with how I'm managing my parking lot? People are getting their necks broken and being paralyzed for life? Fuck you. Take me to court then. I'm going to protect everyone in this parking lot, and I'll get people to come storm wherever you're at in support of it. I will rile them up. I can rile a group up. Believe me, I can do it, especially when it's for a good cause. But I would make an announcement that it would be, you all start fighting in the parking lot. You will never, ever sniff another Major League Baseball stadium again.
I told you those bleachers are
Not
dangerous.
here,
Man.
not in Japan, not in Uruguay, not in Estonia, nowhere. So think twice. The second we live in a world, where there's cameras, and instead of stopping people from hitting people in the face in concrete, people are filming and jerking off while they're doing it instead of helping people. So if that's going to happen, then at least I'll use that for some good and make sure you never set foot into a Major League Baseball stadium again. That right there is how I would handle that. Because if the cops ain't going to do anything about it, shit, that place would be shut down from anyone that fucks around. See how I made that rhyme?
Yes, I do.
I'm a poet. That's how I roll. So yeah, if the kids keep running around breaking shit, what do you do, folks? You all know what to do.
I think they just one-upped us on the Dodger crowd. Xbox did in the chat. If you look there, he said something, I guess, about during a cricket game last year. Two people were going at it, and they weren't going at it in an unfriendly manner. If you get my drift.
Wait, what? In a
chat, they were doing a hokey pokey.
Well, I mean,
right? See,
I don't think that should be in public, but I think it's one of those moments where you probably teach your security, kind of maybe tap somebody on the back and go, "Excuse me, can you go to a hotel, please?" They're not hurting anybody, right? But they're, kind of, in case kids are walking around.
Cool, bro. I don't know how you can roast Dodgers fans when they continually get to the playoffs and the Angels are.
What the hell is Cool Bro doing here?
It's a Saturday. It's a Friday going into Saturday.
Should you be asleep?
Joe. It's a weekend, Joe. He's allowed to stay up late. And as for the A's, $7,000 again. I like the design of the new building. There's someone trying to block it. It's a small building. It's a smaller stadium, about 35,000. I think is the capacity, which I think is smart. It's only 9 acres, and there's actually about 40 to 50 acres total. I think that's what is available, and they're only taking up 9 acres of it, from what I heard. So if they stick to that spot. It's going to be interesting. I don't know, again, who's going to go, because as you know, Joe, there's a reason why the A's are moving, because they didn't support them in Oakland until the very last minute, until they were already gone out the door. So, outside the Dodgers games, when the Dodgers go play there, or the Yankees, or any, the Red Sox, those popular teams, you might be able to get some good seats coming up here in Vegas, because they're, a random game against the Royals, or you name a team that's not quite as followed as the others. There'll be some good tickets available for people out there.
The move to Vegas, when you look at the Raiders, this is how significant it was. The Raiders were on, I think, the bottom 5, if I remember correctly. They were bottom 5 in terms of net worth. When they moved to Vegas, now they're sitting in 7th. That's a huge jump. I mean, that's a massive jump. That's why they moved there. The least worth team in the NFL is the Cincinnati Bengals. Not a surprise, considering Mike Brown is the owner there. Mike Brown is just not good, terrible owner. They're worth $4.1 billion, and the ones right before then, Ralph, is the Detroit Lions, by the way. Yeah. Now the Bills are going to get a new stadium, so they're probably going to jump up. They're 30th. Arizona is after that. It's, Arizona, Detroit, Bengals, the Browns, the Fords, the Bidwells, those guys are notorious, crappy owners. It makes sense why those guys are on the bottom, but in the end, they're still worth billions, right? So I guess it doesn't matter. But Vegas is for these teams is going to mean value that's going to go way up.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas wants. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but Vegas wants to be Hollywood. They want to be the new Hollywood. And what does Hollywood attract? Events, stars. You already have the glitz and the debauchery, the sin. How about we add some sports? We can get more families there, more people involved that live there, build more homes, have more entertainment.
Ralph says Arizona Cardinals are the only team to charge their players at the end of the year on their salaries. Wow. Okay.
And you can thank the Bidwells for that.
Yeah.
You all saw Moneyball, right?
Yeah.
There's a scene, I don't know if this is true, I'm sure it is, where David Justice is talking to Billy Beane. He's like, I got to pay for soda? And then finally, Billy Beane, when he's making a trade, ends up trading someone for something else and says, oh, you need to stock my soda machine for the next 2 years.
That was a really good movie. Good.
It really was.
That's
was.
one of Brad Pitt's best performances, in my opinion. Yeah, just absolutely.
Brad Pitt was acting like Brad Pitt. That's probably why he was so good at it. That wasn't Billy Beane. Billy Beane is nothing like that.
No.
I'd say Brad Pitt's best performance probably is Once Upon a Time. He happened to win an Oscar for it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I thought you can still see it, the Brad Pitt thing, but that scene with the Manson people coming in and the way he was laughing and I think he won the Oscar from that scene alone. But it's been a great day. I got to admit, not only from the Dodger game, just overall, it was just good business, good work. It's Friday, so the weekend's coming. Looking forward to Sunday's games. Steelers are playing your Las Vegas, well, not your Las Vegas Raiders, but in your town. My plan was to come up there, but then things came up. I got to take care of a few things this week, so I can't make it up. But I'm hoping for a better Sunday this weekend versus last weekend. Last weekend might have been the worst sporting day I've ever had. Right now, since they've won the NLDS, it's not as bad because that was really the main loss that meant something. Lakers losing, it was a preseason game. The Steelers losing to the Cowboys on the last play, it's still a regular season game. It wasn't that catastrophic. Plus, the Steelers are not likely going to win a Super Bowl this year anyways. And then, of course, my 2 fantasy football games. That doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. It's a fun activity.
But we always talk about Inside Sports Fantasy Football. We do a great show there. Always enjoy having you guys watch it. But it's also, of course, all we do for the Lakers. Don't forget, in about 12 hours from now, I will be hosting the Lakerholics crew. I guess Jamie is in New Orleans. He said he's going to try and pipe in, but I told him I'll host the show. No worries. I got it for him. So that's the kind of thing. He helps me. I help him. That's how it works. There you go. So I've got it scheduled, and I will be there on time at noon. So there you go. Appreciate it. $7,000. Thank you.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Trout. The issue now isn't whether they'll trade him. Is can he play a full season?
Well, he's no longer 27 and one of the greatest prospects of all time, one of the greatest players of all time. The statistics, the analytics, blah, 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 and all that, win share, blah, blah, blah. He is now, 33, 34? I'll look it up right here in a second, but Yeah, he has now had several seasons where he just cannot stay healthy. And at this point, he is no longer going to be the player he once was, Joe. So I cool, bro. Sorry. Angels had their World Series. They had their one playoff run with him. They couldn't get it done. They should have traded him, like I said, way back years ago when I shocked Jamie Sweet, who's also an Angels fan, on the air. I shocked him when I said they should trade both Trout and Ohtani like years ago. He is 33, by the way. So yeah, come on. How many times do we have to get burned by Angels overpaid, overpriced, over the hill veterans before we learn our mistakes? I mean, how many times have the Angels made those kind of mistakes since they won the World Championship? And I'll leave it at that. So I think they should, Che, but they just think, Che, what they could have gotten 5 years ago had they traded Trout back then. They would have gotten a king's ransom for him at that point in time. Coolbro says Joe is Emperor Palpatine and Gerald is Vader and I am Obi-Wan. Okay, who died in this situation first? I think it was Obi-Wan, but need I digress. 7 Grand says Joe and Gerald top 5-10 list of Tarantino films. Oh, that's a good question.
I'm making it right now. That one's an easy one for me.
Thank you, JY, for the super chat.
A lot of these they can kind of interconnect. But this is my list for my enjoyment for the top 5. Let's see here, where is it? The Jackie Brown and Glorious Bastards is more like 2 and 2A.
Mm-hmm.
And Django could be 2B.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say honestly, Pulp Fiction 1 always will be 1 for me with him. And then Jackie Brown and Glorious Bastards and Django Unchained are tied. Really, like, they're tied to me.
And I just put my 5 up in the chat right
Reservoir Dogs, I don't like them as much as I do the other 4, but it's definitely always going to be in the top 5 no matter what.
And Jackie Brown took place near where I lived in Torrance, right there at the Delamo Fashion Mall. So yeah, I've got a very good fondness for that movie as well. So very underrated movie. So Dust to Dawn a couple weeks ago. What an acid trip. Yeah. That it is.
Well, that's his boy Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
But he was in the movie.
Severino versus question mark by a Facebook user.
What do you say?
I don't know. It just says Severino versus question mark.
What's Severino?
I don't know. I was hoping. Yeah, please elaborate because we're kind of at a loss. But of course, it is the Dodgers fast break for tonight.
Oh, is he talking about the Mets pitcher?
He may be.
Yeah.
Oh, he's wondering who will start. Severino versus.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I know that Flattery's going to pitch for the Dodgers. I don't know who's pitching for the Mets yet. Oh, okay. So you know it's Severino. It's going to be Flattery, Facebook user. It's going to be Flattery. And then Buehler's going to pitch Monday.
Yeah, we got it. We were just, it just came up on the chat. Looked a little different. So yeah, it said, come on, guys. Yeah. So he's got it. He's got it now. So
yeah. Who are you, Facebook user?
I'll see why it's just showing up as Facebook user. So I have to figure out why that is. That's kind of weird. But once again, it is Dodgers fast break. It is Joe Soro himself.
So the Dodgers fast break weekend nightcap.
Mm-hmm.
So we just potlucked all that stuff.
Yep, there you go.
Aussie, it's Aussie.
Oh, hey, Aussie, what's up?
Aussie, what's up, man? Why is it showing up Facebook user?
I don't know why. It's so weird showing up on my software as Facebook user. I actually went into Facebook now. Yes, Aussie, I will try to meet you in when you come to Las Vegas, man. DM me personally. You've got me on Facebook DM personal. So yeah, we will meet up. It would be my honor to go ahead and
Actually, cool, bro. Artie Moreno ordered 66, not Gerald. Go talk to him.
he's just mad at me because I'm wearing this jersey. So
That's a very nice shirt. Even if I wasn't a Dodger fan, that's a nice shirt.
Again, I told you I would wear it if the Dodgers advanced, and then they did. So I had it all set up earlier. So at least I got to wear it again. So yes.
Too bad. So sad.
Serge, great to have you here. Thank you again for all that you do. Again, I'll be on tomorrow for everyone out there at noon with the Lakerholics. Serge, you're the best in the business. And again, whether or not you're modding or not, you're still always a great part of what we do here at the Lakers Fast Break.
I have a very strong feeling that Seferino is going to have a problem Sunday. That's not the guy you want on the mound with a hungry Ohtani.
I think Tarantino brings out the best in Sam Jackson, Jay. I really do. I really think he brings out the best in his acting.
Tarantino and Jackson are just like DiCaprio and Scorsese and Robert De Niro. It's that kind of relationship.
Getting back to basketball, Ralphie D says, how are we feeling about the Sixers? Paul George looked good tonight.
Health.
Yeah.
100%. If that team is healthy at the end of the year, they are going to be a problem. They could not.
I agree.
Player. That's exactly what they needed was Paul George. The only thing we have to wait and see is if Maxey. There's been no evidence that Maxey is not a team player, but if he embraces that he's not going to be used as much as he has been, and he says, I'm going to let George be the second guy to Embiid's one, then that team will win, barring any major injury, which we probably not. I don't know if it's likely because Paul keeps getting hurt, and Embiid, I don't know necessarily if he's getting hurt or just run out of gas at the end of the year. But he won't run out of gas this year as much because he will have a lot of help. Cool, bro. Go to sleep, please. Seriously.
I'm not gonna tell you differently on Nolan Ryan, cool, bro.
You don't even know who Nolan Ryan is.
You've never seen a pitch live like we did. That was a privilege to see him pitch. Yeah, I know he's 30. I was just saying. Che was saying he's in his mid-30s. True. So you better get the best out of you can out of now. They are in win now mode. We talked about the Knicks the other day being in win now mode. They are definitely in win now mode.
Oh yeah.
$7,000. Appreciate the super chat. This is the best horror villain: Jason, Michael, Chucky, Ghostface.
Jason.
I would probably say I kind of lean Chucky or Freddy, personally. I think they have a little bit more personality for obvious reasons. But
I think if you put Jason against any of those guys, he'd tear him into two pieces. He'd battle with Michael a little bit, but not by much.
Okay. This Terrifier that's out is getting a lot of people squeamish. So
yeah, it's.
I'm surprised Cool Bro hasn't been slobbering all over that because he loves to go see those films that he shouldn't be seeing for his age. And Terrifier.
That's a great example there, Bloodhound. Pedro Martinez dominated during the steroid era.
Mm-hmm.
That needs to put an even bigger notch under his belt. And I love him on baseball shows. Him and Big Poppy, man, they're great. Extremely entertaining and informative.
Ralph D, you are not unlike a lot of other people who are saying some really things. If you're into slasher movies, Terrifier 3 looks to be something that's getting a lot of people talking. It may even win the box office over Joker 2 this weekend. Yeah, it's like those VHS tape gore movies, deluxe. Definitely, if you're into that, go see Terrifier 3. I mean, it's so bad. It's so bad. By the way, shake my head, Xbox. That's what SMH means. Shake my head, because I do that a lot with Kubro. It's so bad, Joe. You can't even show a lot of the scenes on YouTube, because YouTube will not allow it. It's hilarious.
You know, in movies, when you have the right niche and the right timing, you get the Terrifier 3. Because there's nothing out right now. The Joker 2 movie was an unmitigated disaster. I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
Oh, I know what they were thinking. As I said on the show, the PCC Multiverse today, that Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix were thinking, just pay me. They didn't want to do it. They admitted to that. They've already admitted that they didn't want to do a second movie. But Warner Brothers forced them. They backed up the Brink truck. They gave them a $200 million budget. Okay, I'll make the movie a musical. I'll make the movie a courtroom drama. I'll do all these other things that you didn't expect would be in a Joker movie.
They still could have said no, but they wanted the money, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's your fault. I'm still trying to figure out what Lady Gaga had to do with the Joker movie.
For the Harley Quinn.
What is it with these movies, and they have to start incorporating this sidekick lady thing now?
No, it's Harley
sidekick. Quinn. They're doing this with the Penguin movie now, or show. I don't want to know about some chick next to him. I want to know about the Penguin. I don't know what the hell. Who's calling these shots? I don't know. Somebody's greenlighting these. Who?
Warner Brothers.
Now, that was that's the worst trade in my lifetime. And I was upset when they traded Mike Piazza. That was the worst at that time for me. But if you look at it now, trading Pedro was the worst trade the Dodgers have made in my Dodger life.
Cool, bro. If you decide to take a date to that movie, you will never see her again for Terrifier 3.
There's only one Harley Quinn right now, folks, and that is that gorgeous. You know who. She's pregnant right now, too. Bastard.
Because she can't
Robbie,
sing.
By the way, for those of you who don't know.
Because they made it a musical, Seven. There are parts of the movie that were made into a musical, and they wanted to incorporate that. And Lady Gaga.
She's too smart, $7,000. They probably brought it to her and said, "No, I'm not going to do this. Let's get Lady Gaga and pay her $12 million. Yay."
Yes, cool, bro. They have made a third one. It is now out in theaters. I think you're the only person on Earth that doesn't know that Terrifier
Go
3 is
away.
Yes, there are parts of it that is a musical in Joker 2, and then also parts of it are a courtroom drama. It's like everything that you wouldn't want a Joker movie to be, and it ends up being. Because the director didn't want to direct another one. So he just basically gave the middle finger to the Warner Brothers and got paid huge amounts for it. But Warner Brothers forced it down their throats, and that's what they get. So.
Well, I mean, I came in here wanting to talk Dodgers and maybe a little Lakers, but apparently people want to talk some more movies.
Yeah.
Cool, bro. Joe, what did I do? You being you is what you did. Being you. With that, we'll make it back to the topics here, Joe. So, looking at tonight's game, did you by any chance get a chance to see any of it?
Oh yeah, I watched the virtually the whole game. The only thing I missed was Kiki Hernandez's first inning. But yeah, saw Teo's, man, he's clobber that thing into the bleachers. Uh, yeah, I always talk about how crazy they are supportive. Those guys in the bleachers, however dangerous it is there for fans in the bleachers, it is absolutely very supportive in the bleachers for Dodgers. And yeah, when Teo hit that home run, absolutely amazing. And then, of course, Yamamoto just lining him up and mowing him down. And you were nervous. You were very nervous. I could tell you were nervous. But yeah, it was interesting to see. And then, of course, he hit all the right buttons. I emailed you. I said, should he take the reliever out with two outs? And he's already out. He just looked dominant. No, it's a lefty on lefty. Okay, all right, throw it out there. It worked. Everything that Dave Roberts did in the past 2 games has worked, and I hope for you it keeps on working.
And it wasn't just blind luck. Sometimes you can make a call and it works out for you. Everything was tactical. Everything was thought out. And even when there was a little bit of a hitch, you could see even his adjustments were right. When Vesia had to bounce, he put in Kopech. Before then, when Buehler was pitching, he let Buehler finish, the inning. Things like that we've been begging Dave Roberts to do. Stop making everything every single time about the sheet. Sometimes go with your instincts a little bit more. And maybe this was part of this today, but I really liked Evan Phillips seeing 5 guys. I think that really kind of set the stage for the Dodgers probably finishing this thing off.
Che, both Jokers are good. Don't get me wrong, but I lean slightly towards Heath because Heath transformed himself into the role, whereas Jack Nicholson, again, Jack is one of the greatest actors in the world at being himself and just transporting that in roles, because it's Jack when you watch Joker. It's Jack when you watch this film. It's Jack. He's the best at being Jack in his films, as opposed to Heath, who just totally transformed himself into the role. I mean, remember, this is the guy from A Knight's Tale that was in that movie when you watch that. Think about that when you watch that movie.
Do I have to?
Okay. $7,000. The Padres got to be kicking themselves in the ass because Yu Darvish gave them what? If you said, okay, if I'm going to pitch, I'm going to give you 6, almost 7 innings, and only give up 2 runs and still lose. That's shame on your offense.
I don't think anybody should be ashamed. They are gonna be, but I don't think so. There's nothing they could do about it. The Dodgers beat the Padres. And they beat them in every conceivable way. They beat them in a 7-5 game. They practically beat them even in that horrid Game 3 second inning. They waxed them in Game 4. And then today was everything you can throw at them from a pitching standpoint, and they still won. The Dodgers beat the Padres in every conceivable way in this short series. The better team won. The better team came out of this. This should have happened in 2022, but it didn't. And it was because there was some suspect decision-making at that time. But this time, there was no suspect decision-making because every decision was a better decision, and it worked out. The tactics of the Padres is not something that irritates me. I already know who Manny Machado is. I already know who Fernando Tatis is. They're not showing up anyone. That's who they are. Now, Jerkson was bothering me a little bit because he was doing his little dance, his little Beyonce dance after he robbed Betts' home run, and then is bitching and whining about people throwing shit at him. I'm like, well, why are you bouncing like a little bitch in front of the fans then? Catch the ball, show the ump that you caught the damn ball, stop wasting motherfucking time instead of dancing. And other than that, They are, in my opinion, the second best team in the majors behind the Dodgers. Unfortunately, in baseball, sometimes the best teams don't win. But as of right now, as of what's happened in the last 7 months, if you were to come to ask me who are the best teams in Major League Baseball, it's the Dodgers and the Padres 1 and 2. The Dodgers win the first 2 games, Sunday and Monday. I think that series will end in 5 at the most. And then I don't know who I'm going to pick. I have no idea who's going to win the Cleveland Tiger game. I'm leaning towards the Tigers. If the Tigers win, I think they have a better shot at beating the Yankees than the Cleveland team does. Why? Because Cleveland does not have, they won't have their ace. Their ace is pitching in Game 5. That means he's not going to be able to pitch Game 1 for the New York series, which means if they go down 1-0, it's going to be much harder, especially with Garrett Cole probably looming for Game 3. So if the Yankees win Game 1 and Garrett Cole pitches Game 3, it's very likely that the Yankees go up 2-1 against Cleveland, and I think they finish that off. But the Tigers, if they hadn't had that insurance run scored on that bunt, I think they win that game at home. But that's baseball. But I think they still have a shot beating Cleveland. So yeah, but I want my kind of dream here was to beat the Padres. At the time, I said to take care of Southern California, and then I want to take care of New York after that. Mets, Yankees, and what a beautiful event that would be if they end up beating the Mets, only to face the Yankees in the World Series with the greatest player, at least of our generation, in his prime, playing New York. The New York Yankees, the most storied baseball team on the planet. I think that just, and imagine beating them in Yankee Stadium. I want the Dodgers to beat the Yankees in Yankee Stadium with Shohei being the MVP. What a year that would be, wouldn't it?
What a year.
That would warrant a lot of excitement, post excitement. I might have to go remote somewhere on that one, smoking cigars with a lot of noise around me and just entertaining for as long as I can until I pass out. But it's been a long day, folks. I want to thank you for being patient here with me today, Gerald, especially. Thank you for accommodating my flakiness. I'll make sure I don't do that again. But I'm very happy. It's been a very good evening. I've been enjoying hanging out with you guys here the last 4 hours. Tomorrow, I probably won't be on tomorrow unless I'm kind of chiming in every now, here and there. But I'm pretty sure we'll be back on Sunday. For how that will be structured, I'll make sure I let you all know how that's going to work way before. But until then, I want to thank you again for being here at the Lakers Dodgers Fast Break Nightcap weekend. And until next time, you have one more thing to say?
Yeah, don't forget, I'll be on with the Lakerholics here in about 12 hours.
Lakerholics in 12 hours. Again, I might chime in on the chat. But until next time, we'll see you next time.